There's a guy sitting inside his car at 2 a.m., the dim amber glow of the dashboard instrument cluster reflecting on his face, completely alone, and he's finally at ease. No texts, no constant notifications, no social obligations. Just him, his fingers wrapped around the steering wheel, and a silent road that asks for absolutely nothing in return. Most people would look at the dropping fuel gauge and call it pointless. He calls it sanity. And that divide right there isn't a random choice. It's deep psychology. See, the people who start their engines at midnight aren't just commuters trying to get somewhere. They're wired differently. And once you understand the psychological shift that occurs the exact moment that heavy car door thuds shut, you'll never look at a lone driver the same way again. When someone who drives alone hits the empty tarmac, they aren't just traveling. They are stepping into a world where they are finally in total control. And that is incredibly rare in the human experience. Think about it. Most of the chaos we face daily, messy relationships, unpredictable careers, nagging self-doubt, has no off switch. But inside that cabin, the physics are absolute. You press the gas, you move forward. You steer right, the car goes right. For a specific kind of mind, that predictable input-output isn't just a fun drive, it is a profound psychological relief. Psychologists link this to a high need for predictability and low ambiguity, the desire for a space where the rules don't suddenly change. So, when this person locks themselves inside a rolling metal sanctuary, something shifts in their nervous system. The unmanageable noise of the outside world drops to zero. The feedback is immediate, raw, and entirely under their command. The boundaries are tight, the road is defined, and for the next hour, they don't have to fix their life, they just have to drive. There's a reason they keep burning fuel at midnight. But escaping the noise is only one layer. What they're actually chasing out there on the asphalt is a psychological state called the flow state. It's that exact window where your surroundings blur, time dissolves, and the background chatter of your brain completely goes dead. Athletes feel it, musicians feel it, and lone drivers, without ever looking at a psychology textbook, have been triggering this exact state behind the wheel for generations. To get there, it requires just enough of your active focus, rev matching a downshift, reading the apex of a dark corner, balancing the clutch, it hits that sensory window perfectly, and your brain rewards it. Dopamine, serotonin, the full chemical cocktail. The truth is, people who love driving alone aren't just addicted to the machine or the destination. They are addicted to that specific clarity of mind. The car is simply the key that unlocks it. Now, here's where the story gets deeply personal, because this is never just about asphalt and speed. Talk to anyone who remembers the exact day they learned to drive with their father or grandfather in the passenger seat, and watch their expression change. It's not the mechanical instructions they remember, it's the quiet trust of being handed the keys for the very first time. It's that terrifying, exhilarating moment they were trusted to balance the clutch and command a 2-ton machine all by themselves. It's the memory of that silent glance from the passenger seat, a simple, quiet nod from an older man that said, "You've got this. You're in control now." That single nod carried more weight than a lifetime of lectures. For many, the driver's seat was the first place they ever felt truly independent, trusted, and free. And the brain maps that feeling onto the machine. Decades later, the distinct, vintage smell of worn fabric or aged leather in a cabin can trigger a rush of memory. A warmth that has everything to do with a time when life felt safe, linear, and secure. This is why driving alone becomes a core identity. It's not just an action, it's a return to who you are when nobody else is watching. So, the next time you see a lone car idling at a red light in the dead of night, the driver just staring into the empty intersection ahead. Don't just think they are wasting fuel or trying to kill time. They are restoring order to their own messy corner of the universe. They are decompressing from the day, silencing their anxiety, and claiming a patch of absolute control in a world that gives them none. The machine, the headlights, the empty tarmac, they are just the medium. The real healing is happening inside that cabin. We don't just drive alone to go places. We drive alone because our minds get crowded. And sometimes, a tank full of gas and a long, quiet road is the only thing standing between a person and a completely quiet mind. This is exactly why lone drivers are so often misread as distant, antisocial, or emotionally closed off. They aren't running away from people, they are simply managing their own psychology in the cleanest way they know how. In a world that never stops talking, the overstimulated mind craves boundaries. The car cabin isn't a retreat from reality, it is a moving recalibration chamber. You step into the driver's seat completely overwhelmed by the day, and you step out, hours later, completely restored. The machine quietly absorbs the mental weight that the person simply couldn't carry anymore. And here's the deeper layer that almost nobody talks about, the psychological relationship between driving alone and control. Not control in a toxic, dominant sense, but in a deeply human, protective one. Behavioral psychology shows that having a sense of control over your immediate environment is a core pillar of mental well-being. When life strips that control away, anxiety spikes. But when you regain it, your nervous system finally settles. For individuals who grew up in unpredictable, chaotic homes, where environments shifted without warning and boundaries felt unsafe, stepping into the driver's seat is a way of reclaiming the autonomy that was stolen from them as children. Inside this cabin, the car cannot lie to you. It won't change its mind. It will not suddenly turn into a chaotic environment. Every input has a direct, honest output. And for someone raised in unpredictability, that pure, mechanical honesty is deeply therapeutic. This connects to something even deeper, the psychology of internal mastery. Modern psychology acknowledges that humans derive meaning in two ways, through social connection, and through individual autonomy and competence. Modern culture is completely obsessed with the first and quietly dismissive of the second. We celebrate hypersocializing, constant networking, and crowded parties. We've somehow decided that wanting to be alone is a flaw, and that spending your weekend night driving down a dark highway instead of standing in a crowded rooftop bar means there is something wrong with you. That narrative isn't just wrong, it's psychologically damaging. Because for a specific portion of the population, complete solitude behind the wheel, in perfect sync with a machine, is their primary pathway to clarity and self-worth. Strip that away, label their silence as loneliness, and you don't just criticize a drive. You take away the one sanctuary where they finally feel centered, functional, and whole. The people who love driving alone have found something most people spend their entire lives searching for, a space that demands their full presence, rewards their instinct, and gives them back a version of themselves they actually respect. In a single midnight drive, they achieve what others spend years trying to reach through therapy or self-help books. Not because they are running away from reality, but because the act of navigation itself is a form of moving meditation. The hands steer, and the mind quiets. The focus is external, pinned to the white lines on the tarmac. And when everything clicks, when the exhaust note hums in perfect harmony with the open road, something in the chest releases. It's not just relaxation. It's relief. The kind of raw relief that whispers, I am still in control. I am still capable. I can steer through whatever is coming next. That is not a small thing. That is everything. And maybe that's the real reason the person behind the wheel at 2 a.m. doesn't want to turn back home. It's not that they love the machine more than people. It's that out there, on that dark asphalt, they remember something about themselves that the rest of the world keeps trying to make them forget. The chaotic thoughts get aligned, and so do they.